Welcome to Lawn Up!
Get some lawn on! I made it!
So for today's job you'll need a soil spreader, a rake, a pair of gloves and a pair of secateurs.
And you'll also need a roller and a straight edge. So step one is to prepare your surface.
I'm removing a bit of dirt because there's a bit too much here. I want it nice and flat for the grass. Hey?
I dug my area down to 100mm and then filled it up with blended lime.
Good.
I use a rake and then a soil spreader to get my initial flooding out area.
Whoa, stop. I think of Daddy's lawn. Let's do it! What else do you think of Daddy's lawn? Is it some dirt? It is dirt. Has he finished yet? No.
I further flatten out my area with a roller before I use a straight edge to just get that final sheen. But before I do anything else, I want to make sure my irrigation works.
I've got flush cups in, and basically what that means is the water will hopefully go straight up and everywhere. It's to flush the system out of any dirt that gets in there. Then I'm going to put my sprinkler heads on. You'll see how good I am, Clint, eh?
Does it matter that this is getting wet?
Yeah, it probably does.
Oh, we got one there that's not.
I've got to run them for a little while.
So I've tested my irrigation, great, it works. Now I go to straightening up the area with the straight edge and then I roll it again. I got some lawn starter with the pallet of turf, and the directions were that you put it on your soil and then rake it in and then you wet it in.
The Lawnporn crew.
So I watered in my fertiliser with my new adjusted sprinkler heads that I've just installed, and I did this for about 20 minutes.
Okay, now for the fun bit. Let's get to the grass.
Now that we've prepared our surface, we're ready for the grass.
This has been here for a day and a bit actually, hasn't it?
Lay out your grass as soon as it's delivered.
Look at that.
Don't leave it a couple of days like me, it deteriorates quickly. This has held up well even though I've left it for a couple of days.
I'm going to lay out the grass. I'm not going to go over the top of the sprinkler head. I'm going to go over that for the moment.
Welcome to Lawn Up. Get your lawn on.
Now I'm going to cut a hole where the sprinkler head is, and it's as easy as that.
Like so. Good. And you get your next roll.
Bunch up your edge of your last roll to your new roll nice and tightly. No gaps is the trick, and just bunch it up to any other edges. Here I'm marking out the next sprinkler and I'll cut it to suit.
Lovely. Okay, so you've done the first row. Now you've got to build it up like a brick, and why we do that is because the edges of the panorama will have a little bit of dial. So the theory is build it up like a brick so those lines aren't dying off all in the straight line. Awkward. You don't have to be too fussy. It doesn't have to be straight in the middle or anything like that. Just so long as the lines don't line up with the line that you did before.
Make sure your new row is bunched up to your last row and there's no gap in between the grass lines.
And then you butt your edges up.
You know what? You drive me crazy.
Once we've done all the main ones, we'll cut a bit to size. Now we're getting our lawn on. We're going to fill in that small gap.
So roll down a new roll and let it just go over the edge of the grass on the other side there, just a little bit, and then cut it to size. It's as simple as that.
You've got the green light.
Continue with the brick pattern until you use all your main rolls.
But the next thing is you'll have some areas and bits that will need filling in, and that's pretty easy to do. All you've got to do is just cut bits to size.
Now using the rolls that you have left over, cut bits to fit those areas. Butt them in nicely and leave no gaps, and you should be good.
And we just install it like so.
You know what? You're so fine.
There you go, done.
Not quite, mate. You've got to give it a roll, or if you don't have a roller, you can use a plank of wood to flatten it down and just get that final little compress.
You've got lines already.
After that roll, give it a big drink, and I let it have a drink for about an hour. So in summary, we prepared our surface with 100ml blended loam and used our tools to flatten it out. We laid down our lawn in a brick pattern, making sure the edges were all nice and tight to each other, and then we filled in our gaps by cutting bits to size and cutting over our obstacles such as sprinkler heads. So now we've got to worry about our maintenance to give it the best start. So keep the water up, don't let it dry out too often, and once she's bedded in, it'll take about a month, you can lessen the water. In about 2 to 3 weeks, I'll use our Launch Plus fertiliser to give those roots an extra boost with some phosphorus. Keep the water up for the first month and keep it nice and moist, don't let it dry out. And the good thing about roll-out turf is that it acts like a weed mat, so that'll keep your weeds at bay, although you'll still have to keep an eye on them. And ultimately, you'll use less water and chemicals, etc., and it'll be a cheaper option in the long run. Get your lawn on.
Get your lawn on. Get your lawn